Hello and welcome to Catholic News Roundup. I'm Christine Niles. Today's July 20th, 2025. Here are this week's top stories. International outcry after Israel hit the only Catholic church in Gaza, leaving 3 dead and several wounded, including the parish priest. Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, issued a statement saying he, quote, strongly condemns this tragedy and this targeting of innocent civilians and of a sacred place. After massive backlash, the Israeli Defense Force issued a statement claiming it was an accident and regretted any unintentional damage. In comments to Italian journal Corriere della Sera, the cardinal expressed skepticism. Quote, they say it was a mistake, although everyone here believes that this is not the case. Among those in the hospital is altar server Suhail Abu Dawood, who writes for the Vatican's L'Osservatore Romano, and who suffered shrapnel wounds to his internal organs.
How are you, Suhail?
I'm fine. I'm much better than yesterday. Thank you all for your prayers, for your messages. I really appreciate all of you. I hope I can start my life again and to continue my vocation in Italy. And as always, love is stronger than war.
On Friday, Pope Leo spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, urging a ceasefire and an end to the slaughter. President Trump reportedly called Netanyahu after the attack to express his anger at the deaths. Pope Francis used to call Holy Family Church on a regular basis, speaking with Father Gabriel Romanelli and his parishioners.
Prega a favore, no contro. A domani. A domani. Shukran.
At the Sunday Angelus, Pope Leo again addressed the strike.
And I'm also close to all those who continue to be affected by the attacks on civilians in Gaza. So we need to stop immediately these barbaric acts of war.
In related news, Catholics are boycotting the Babylon Bee. On Saturday, editor Joel Berry tweeted, "This won't be easy for people to hear, but there are only about 200 professed Catholics still living in Gaza, and they all support Hamas." After backlash, Berry doubled down, tweeting, "True Christian faith still exists in Gaza, but it's all underground. Anyone allowed by Hamas to practice openly is allowed to do so only because they aid and support the terror regime." Thousands have responded in anger, including Catholic author and convert Sohrab Ahmari, who wrote, "They deserve to be killed, is what you're implying, you human-shaped monster." The Babylon Bee has been known to post anti-Catholic content, including headlines mocking Mary and the intercession of the saints. One of them, "You're going to be a perpetual what?" Joseph asks Mary on wedding night. Another, "Saints in heaven shocked to learn Catholics have been trying to talk to them this whole time." John Daniel Davidson, senior editor at The Federalist, tweeted, "I don't know about anyone else, but as a Catholic who supports and prays for my persecuted Christian brothers and sisters in Gaza and the Holy Land, I won't be sharing or boosting anything produced by the Babylon Bee or its anti-Catholic dispensationalist editors ever again." In other news, Israeli settlers are attacking Christians in Palestine, while local police turn a blind eye. Last week, Cardinal Pizzaballa visited the Christian city of Taibe, where there have been arsons and vandalism by Israeli settlers. The cardinal said, "The Council of Patriarchs and heads of churches calls for these radicals to be held accountable by the Israeli authorities, who facilitate and enable their presence around Taibe." Church leaders called police twice during an arson attack, but they never showed up. Approximately 50,000 Christians live in Jerusalem and the West Bank. Israeli settlers also beat a U.S. citizen to death, 20-year-old Saif Musalet.
He was born in Florida and was a beloved member of his community. Saif traveled to Palestine on June 4th to spend time with his loved ones. This is an unimaginable nightmare and an injustice that no family should ever have to face. We demand the U.S. State Department lead an immediate investigation and hold the Israeli settlers who killed Saif accountable for their crimes.
Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee visited the area and is demanding that Israel launch an investigation. Meanwhile, in Syria, Christians continue to suffer deadly attacks from Muslim radicals. A second church was pillaged and vandalized by Islamists, this time in Az-Suwaida. This comes after a Christian man was murdered in Homs, leading many Christians to consider fleeing the country. Last year, the new Islamist government led by Ahmed al-Sharaa ousted the former regime under Bashar al-Assad, who had protected Christians. The U.S. under Obama was involved in that government overthrow, which led to the slaughter of hundreds of Christians. In pro-life news, the U.S. Army is apologizing to pro-lifers for calling them terrorists. A July 16th letter from Army Secretary Dan Driscoll expresses regret for its grievous error, calling it a mischaracterization that was deeply inappropriate. Last year, a whistleblower leaked an Army training slide at Fort Bragg showing Operation Rescue and National Right to Life were labeled domestic terrorist groups. After backlash, Fort Bragg disavowed the slide, claiming it was created by a local garrison staffer without approval from above. The slide, however, had been used every year for 7 years. Driscoll's letter blames the Biden administration for failing to take the matter seriously. The nation's largest child transgender clinic is shutting down. The Center for Trans Youth Health and Development at Children's Hospital Los Angeles will be closing its doors July 22nd. The closure comes months after President Trump yanked all federal funding for any organizations that perform chemical and surgical mutilation on children. Its medical director, Joanna Olson Kennedy,
do you want people to see a boy? Do you want people to see a girl? Do you want people to see something in between or neither of those things?
Is the subject of a lawsuit filed by a former transgender, accusing her of pushing the victim to receive hormone treatment at the age of 12. Kennedy has also been under congressional investigation after she hid the results of a study showing children are harmed by gender treatments. And in Washington state, a legal victory for priests. A federal court agreed with Catholic bishops Friday that a state law forcing clergy to break the confessional seal is likely unconstitutional, violating priests' right to religious freedom. Based on that, the court issued a preliminary injunction halting the law from taking effect. The lawsuit was filed by Bishop Paul Achen, Bishop Robert Barron, and the U.S. Department of Justice. That is this week's Catholic News Roundup. Please visit Stella Maris Media and sign up to our email list for the latest news and updates. You can support us by liking and sharing this content, as well as supporting our sponsors. Thank you so much for watching. Please continue to pray for our country and for the world. May God bless your week. I'm Christine Niles.